Hey, Ken, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Chris. Thank you. And also, I appreciate the advocates that you have on the show today. Ms. Gutierrez is a true advocate of Department of Education, so kudos there. And I'll be looking out for some tilapia as well on my end.
Right. Maybe we'll get some shrimp, too. Well, Ken, we got the graphic here. This is it's a webinar conference type thing. I'll send it to you, Jay. Just go ahead and take it away, Ken, because we know that you came out with this release late yesterday afternoon, so we wanted to get you on to help spread the word about it.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to create is an awareness seminar on the existing programs that we have right now, what's called the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. That program actually is going to be expiring at the end of the year, December 31st, 2021. It was a program that was developed time that the COVID first hit, and basically it's a loan program that would help small businesses get themselves back on track as a result of the pandemic. We are closely looking at a bill that's going to be passed into law soon. The House passed a legislative, what's called the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. It was passed up by the House on Friday, and the Senate already passed the act back in August. So President Biden is expected to sign the legislation, and part of the billions of dollars involved in the bill will come from cuts to our SBA programs. And one of the programs is the IDL. So I want to make sure that the island community, business community, takes full advantage of the program that's going to be helping their business operations. So part of the rescission of this bill is going to come from the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program that we have, or the EIDL program. Our program, that EIDL program, has around $350 billion in loan authority, and the program has provided over $300 billion of those allocations to small businesses right now, leaving approximately $50 billion left in the pot for this particular program, which is set to expire at the end of the calendar year, December 31st, 2021. But the program might face a $13.5 billion reduction because of this new Jobs Act that's going to come out, signed into law. So that's going to affect how it is. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to emphasize to the community, please get your applications in. Please work with the SBA in terms of knowing what to do with the application process. And if you are declined as a result, and you have a right to appeal that decision by the SBA. And so we're going to have discussions on that next week on the 17th when I do the presentation up there to the community. The other area that's going to be affected too, we have what's called the Targeted Advanced, or the Targeted EIL Advanced, which is actually grant monies coming from the SBA. That program was allocated for $30 billion. It was allocated to this grant program that the SBA has, of which $4 billion was actually dispersed, leaving $26 billion out there for the opportunities for those who submitted their application in there. Unfortunately, with the act's going to be proposing to have a $17.5 billion cut on that particular program. And so that, again, would be affected by it. They're also going to be looking at cutting $4.6 billion from the drawdown of the account that the PPP, which was the Paycheck Protection Program that left over. So there's going to be various cuts throughout our programs. So we want, again, emphasize to the community they should take advantage of these programs now before the end of the year falls out. On the flip side of that, though, Chris, is that this bill would also put some of the monies back to our regular programs, meaning that we want to do the transition from disaster activity, disaster loan making, to the regular loan making cycle, because again, businesses need to continue after this fiscal year. They need to continue on. So our program's going to have added monies, as a result of these cuts. They're going to be putting monies back to our regular program, so that way we can help and assist the small business community out there moving forward in 2022. So these are the things that we want to discuss and make sure that the community understands that the programs are available, still available. They can utilize the programs. They just need to apply for it, need to know how to apply, what documentation is needed, as part of the application. And we're going to go to various scenarios as to how to mitigate some of the concerns that they had moving forward and trying to get the funding from the SBA.
Ken, you mentioned that businesses, applicants who may have been rejected, and there was a little thing in your graphic here that it talked about. Let me pop that up here. It talked about businesses being able to prepare reconsideration requests after an unfavorable decision. So when you get these businesses that apply for this EIDL and they receive that unfavorable decision, a denial, rejection, whatever you want to call it, do you usually see them come back and prepare reconsideration requests?
Well, oftentimes I would notice that some of them, they kind of get rejected, or they feel depressed and they don't want to come back. They have the ability within 6 months from the time period of the declination letter was issued out, they have 6 months to come back to SBA and justify the reasons why they want to appeal the decision to SBA. In many cases, I've seen it where they'll get a decline letter saying unidentifiable information, meaning that they don't have SBA doesn't have enough information for them to make a credit decision. Mm-hmm. So they send that letter, declination letter, out to the applicant. Applicant looks at it and says, okay, well, I don't know what to submit. Well, that's what we're going to discuss next week on the 17th. We're going to discuss the things that you need to submit, things that you can do to mitigate the issue, and respond back to the SBA within a timely fashion. So that way SBA can start working on the credit factors that go into the loan processing. And so those are the things that are not really identifiable within the letter, but that's something we're going to be discussing next week as well.
Oh, that's great. So if there are businesses out there who maybe had applied for EIDL, were rejected, and then, like you said, kind of just like put their head down and went home, maybe they don't qualify for any of this other relief that's going around, whether it be federal or local. So it might be a good time to dust off those applications and tune into this presentation with Ken. And Ken, so I know that it expires December 31st, right? So do businesses have the chance to apply up until that date?
Unfortunately, not for this particular program, because again, the funds expire for this program similar to the PPP. When the PPP expired, although there were funds remaining on it, but the legislative law says the program only exists up to a certain time period. So for this particular disaster declaration for the EIDL for COVID-19, the legal authority expires in December 31st, 2021. So therefore, all funding, regardless if there's still money in the pot, those monies can no longer be allocated to be dispersed because of the fact that the law has expired already. So it's incumbent of the small businesses here in Guam and within the CMI, the areas that we cover. It's incumbent of them to submit the application, get the application in, get the processing going, so that way they don't lose, they don't miss the bus, basically.
Right. Yeah. And Ken, so I guess last question: the timeline. If I'm a business owner, I attend your seminar November 17th. Can I put it in an app and expect approval or rejection before the program funds and the program expires at the end of the year?
Yes, I believe that once you put in the application, you're in the system. I'll get more clarification on that. You're in the system, you're processing, but once you decline and you surpass the 6 month period, then you're basically going to be out of the code. So again, we're going to discuss a lot of those intricacies next week on the 17th. So that way they don't get caught off guard as to, I should have known, I would have known, I could have known. Now you know. I encourage them to tune into the information that's going to be provided next week.
Thank you, Ken, so much for jumping on.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Okay. Take it easy. Right on. Ken Lujan, he's the branch manager of the Small Business